How's it going, everybody? One more time back here at DSG with the Pink Ribbon Racing Supra. It's another work day. You can see Dennis is here working on some springs. We got new rates for the back of the car. Oh my God, hello Bella. You've gotten very big. So new springs are going in on the back. We got them on the front as well. Those are a lot easier because they're exactly the same length. On the back we had to add spacers, as you can see here. 15 mil spacer for the new spring length and the new stiffness. And then we got a time lapse going up here right now. JJ's working on installing our new big brake kit. It's okay, buddy. You're doing a great job. Splitters on. This is a temporary piece right now, but we're going to 3D print a new one that seals this off perfectly. You can see we've already started working on some 3D printed parts here. This is that honeycomb core that we talked about before. And it flows in nicely with the factory air there. And then here's the big project for today. This side's already finished. New StopTech big brake kit. Yes, indeed. This thing's really pretty. So we'll be testing that out soon enough. We were going to test the car today, but obviously we decided not to do that. We decided to focus on installing some new stuff in the car first, so we can get all this tested all at once. We're going to have a wing. We're going to have our splitter finalized. We're going to have our brakes with pads, new spring rates all at once, and hopefully we're good enough at our jobs that we can just get it all right the first try. Right, JJ?
Yeah. It's kind of, there's a lot of new parts that go on the car, a lot of stuff that hasn't been done before, so it's a lot of trial and error. That's for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we're good at this, maybe we're not. We'll see. I'm pretty happy. Like every time we've messed with the springs, like changing the shocks out and everything, we mathed out all the heights and everything, got it perfect first try. So we've got some momentum. So hopefully it's just going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work. All right. So the full video again is going to be on Oh God! Don't hit the camera. Full video is going to be on Supra MK5 on YouTube. So I will link to that below. And by the way, if you're enjoying these videos, if you're enjoying our build, consider subscribing and hitting the little bell. And do the same thing on Supra Mark V as well. It helps us continue to do this. All right, till next time. Thank you. Good morning from Big Willow Raceway. It is October 31st, and we're here with Extreme Speed Track Days to do a little bit of testing. You can see Supra is in hover mode at the moment, but we've got our big brakes on. We've got the new springs in. We're still using these old tires, which are probably trashed at this point, but that's okay. We just want to see if the electronics are working, because we have been through a whole lot. We have been through a whole lot in the last couple of days and nights trying to get this car to actually work properly. It's possible that we fried a module in this thing, specifically an ABS module. So we've done a couple of changes between the last time we went to the track and now. Last time we realized we had the wrong modules on the rear shock EDC, or the EDC cancelers, so we weren't able to really push the car that hard because the VSC kept turning on. We've got the right ones in now, so that should be fine. However, we also put in the big brakes and put the flash tune on the car at the same time. And somewhere within all of that, we had a little issue. So the interesting thing that's going on here, let's see if I can show this off. If I turn the car into the on position, there we go. See that light? Oh, hold on. There we go. That light right there. So that is like a secondary VSC light, because the normal one's over here. That's different. That means something's wrong. Now, normally in a Supra, if you've got VSC lights coming on, that means that you cannot turn VSC off, and therefore there would be no reason for us to be here. However, the weird thing that's going on is that in road testing, it seems like VSC is permanently off. In fact, this car legitimately wants to kill you while you're driving it, because for some reason the shift from second to third is incredibly abrupt, and it like opens the throttle plate. So like I was just trying to pull out through an intersection, normally making a left turn, and it hit third gear and just spun up the rear tires and put me sideways in the middle of an intersection. It's me. Usually that's on purpose. This time it was an accident. So the car wants me dead, but that's probably a good thing, because if it stays like that on track, that means we can actually drive it the way we want to drive it without the VSE intervening at all. So I tested as best as I could on the street. We'll see if it stays like that on the track with higher G-forces. I have absolutely no idea if it's going to work or not, but that's why we're here. So if that is a success, that means we can actually get some tire data off the car. We can test out the new brakes. We can get some temp data from the brakes. We can test out the new spring rates and actually get an idea if this car's working the way we need it to. So that's what we're working on today. JJ, what you working on?
I am going through our data or setup. Just making sure, writing down everything so we know what changes we're making.
So what are you doing? We're swapping pads. So when we just went out, we had the StopTech pads in the front and the stock pads in the back. So we're going to our new CSG pads all the way around. So we know that our bias is at least going to be where it's supposed to be. The car's stopping pretty good now, but it's mostly using the fronts. So this will help. We did a bleed, just say we did. And then you can see here, we tripped the color changing paint on both the first and second levels. And I don't remember off the top of my head exactly what that number is. Maybe I'll just overlay it over the video or something. But that means we've already gotten these hotter than we got the stock brakes, which means they're working well enough that I can feel comfortable actually pushing the brake pedal. So that's good. We got CSG pads going in. A little bit of struggle busing going on. We'll figure that out. But yeah, overall car feels good right now, actually. Our weird breaking the car in a specific and fortuitous way has worked out, I guess. There's no VSC at all, no traction control. I'm able to push the car as hard as I need, and it doesn't intervene at all for any reason, which is awesome. Yeah, we also figured out that our shocks, we thought that they were all set the same, but they weren't. So we had to go and reset all the compression and rebound knobs and everything, and that made a big difference. It feels way more stable. It's a little bit twitchy at the moment, but I think that's because we have just a touch of toe out in the front, and Big Willow's not a toe out in the front sort of track, so we're going to set that probably just a little bit of toe in, just to see if that makes any changes to the twitchy feeling, and then not change the shocks, because we're just going to do one change at a time, see if the toe fixes it. If not, if it's something else, then we're going to start messing around with the shocks. I want to probably start with adding some rebound and seeing just how the car responds to that, seeing if that instables it. I don't know, see how it feels. And then probably for the rest of the day, we'll be making little adjustments on the shocks and just seeing how it behaves, but it's already pretty quick. I haven't had a clean lap yet, and it was already a 1 minute 33 point something, and that was in traffic, so with the stock tune, by the way. Oh, this is super cool. I should show this to you. Okay, with these buttons right here, I'm able to change the engine map. So first of all, this one right here, if I hold that down, see the tach shows 1, I release, it goes back to 0. Now the engine's not running. That is indicating that there is 10% ethanol in the fuel. So that means it's just normal 91 that has a little bit of ethanol in it. If we add into E85, that'll jump up to 2 for 20%, or 3 for 30%, etc. This button here lets us see what map we're in. So I push that one, and it goes up to 2. That means we're in map 2. And then I can change this little toggle switch here. It goes back to 1, that's stock. That's map 2, which is a little bit more power. And that's map 3, which is scramble boost, which I haven't tried yet. But I did test out 1 versus 2, and I can definitely feel a little bit more power in 2, and we haven't even put any E85 in the car yet. That's just on 91. So we've got our flex fuel system set up. We have some E85 with us, so we're prepared to dump some in and just see how it feels. But I want to actually I want to do the more important stuff first, which is make sure that it's handling correctly. We've got our tire temp data from the last session, which is good. Finally have some tire temp data. We're going to keep going, keep getting more data. Turns out our outside tires are way too hot,
or not way too hot, but way too high pressure. So now we're going to reduce those. We should get some more grip out of the car, and then we can start to really dial in and see what our camber and alignment numbers look like, to see if we need to make any changes. I have a feeling we might need some more in the rear, more camber in the rear. The front actually looks pretty good, so I don't know, we'll go from there. But we're making progress. Finally get to do some laps in this thing.
All right, we're winding down here today at Big Willow. This was a really, really successful day, actually, which is a good feeling, because we've had a bunch of bad luck, honestly. Like the last time we tried to track it, oh God. That's Alex, by the way. That's Indotech, if you didn't know. Anyway, we had a bunch of bad luck when we went to Buttonwillow. We couldn't drive the car, but dude, like, it's good. It's so good now. Like, it lets me do anything. I can overdrive the crap out of this car now, which is exactly what I wanted, because it lets me do what I want. It's not restricting the speed. It's not restricting power or anything like that. Okay, let's talk about individual stuff. So, brakes. Brakes are good. Oh man, I missed my chance. Can't see the paint from this perspective, but we cracked all 3 paint colors. And again, I still don't remember what the numbers are off the top of my head. I'll put it overlay on the video, but hot. We got the brakes very hot. We've got the CSG pads in the front and the rear now, and the car is definitely oversteer biased on entry. It lets me trail brake a lot, even though the fronts are getting way, way hotter than the rear are. So that's probably more down to suspension balance, and the car is definitely oversteer biased right now, and that's expected. We knew it would be that because we're setting the car up for aero, but it doesn't have aero on it. So it's gonna be oversteer biased. So you can see we don't have the splitter on the car. We don't have a wing or diffuser or anything. It's just all stock body. And I'm being serious when I say I don't think there was another car here that had more corner speed than we did. It was so good. It's really, really good. And it's really encouraging to feel just how good it is after all that work and not even really being able to test it. Okay, so brakes, suspension, a little bit on the loose side, but we expected that because we need to put the aero on it, and that'll balance it out. The diff. Diff's not great. It's just a stock diff, and it's that electronically controlled LSD. And like when you're in the middle of a corner, it's all bound up, and the G's really high because you've got these, high grip tires on the car. When you try to put the power down, it doesn't really know what to do. It kind of puts the power left to right, and it just doesn't feel good. So maybe we'll try to hopefully look into some solutions to that. I don't know if anybody has really improved the diff on these cars yet, but I mean, if anybody, why not us? What else? The tune. Man, having different maps just that you can click to while on the track is freaking awesome. We put the E85 in the car. It had 51%, so that's basically exactly what it needs to be for our class, and it was way, way more power. And I could feel it immediately. And it's not just like, oh yeah, butt dyno, it feels good. No, it's actually faster. We got to check the data. I think I was cracking over 150 on the front straight here, which is fast. And that was in map 2. Map 3 is significantly faster than that. However, map 3 heat soaks the intake manifold, so I could only do half a lap before it cut my power. So you can only have a little bit of fun with map 3. But map 2 is really good. It felt fast, and that's probably what we're going to be using, and then we can do some more tweaks. I think we did a 1 minute 27, which might be a record for this car. Might be a Supra record. I'll have to check on that. And I'll put the actual time in there, and I guess I'll put the whole video of the lap in there, assuming the camera works. But yeah, that might be a record for a Mark 5 Supra. But for a street class, it's not that fast. Obviously, we need to make the car a lot faster. So the aero is going to go a long way towards that. Oh, what's next? We've got a few little things to look at. A couple bolts moved, and when you drastically increase G's like what we have done in this car, that's not that uncommon. That's why we always mark them. So we put a stripe of paint or silicone or whatever you want to use over the head of the bolt or the nut, so you can see if it moves because the line doesn't match up. In 2 spots on this car, we did see that after our last hard session. So we're probably going to need to go through this with a fine-tooth comb and a bottle of Loctite and make sure that doesn't happen. We've got a little bit of rub on the front end links to the lower control arm, and SPL did say that can be an issue, so we have to readjust to make sure it's exactly the spot where we're supposed to be, so we don't want that to fail while we're on track, so we'll have to look into that. I don't think we're going to be able to test again before
for the competition weekend. So I guess we're just going to finalize our aero setup, and that's it. I guess that's it. And maybe we might be able to get a little more power out of it. I don't know. Oh, exhaust. We're going to have exhaust on it too. So hopefully, if not more powerful, at least louder. And man, I think that's it. I think that's all we're going to be doing in this car before competition. So wish us luck. We'll have more updates before the day of the competition. Alex is talking crap right now.
What's going on, Alex?
See you in the next one.